welcome to the third seat for leaders navigating the chaos of growth. Today, I'm going to be speaking to Nicola Piercy from Stripe and Stare, who are the world's most comfortable knicker company. They also happen to be incredibly sustainable. Nicola and Katie, who founded the company, focused on finding the most comfortable, best and most sustainable material to produce their product. And apparently you can bury them in the garden if you want, and they will compost over 3 months. So they are incredibly environmentally friendly. Katie and Nicola have built multiple businesses. They are serial entrepreneurs, and in 2017 they put their minds to building Stripe and Stare. To date, they've sold over 1 million pairs of knickers, and they have celebrity endorsements aplenty, one of which you'll hear about in detail in this podcast. It was incredible to record this with Nicola, and her pragmatism, her absolute calmness through the chaos of fast growth is really one to learn from. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Nicola Piercy from Stripe and Stare, welcome to the Third Seat podcast. I am really thrilled you're joining me today. Thank you so much. And for anybody who's used to seeing these recordings in a studio, we are falling victim to the tube strike today. So we're recording remotely, but we're ploughing on through. It's all good. We are. So, Third Seat podcast is all about the leadership journeys of fast growth senior leaders, founders. And so we're going to be talking today all about your journey through growing Stripe and Stare, but with the angle on how that's felt to lead a team through that growth. So to give us the context on that, can you talk to me a little bit, first of all, about how the team's grown and the shape of the business, how it all kind of works and fits together?
Yeah, absolutely. We started the business in 2017, and we started with a bit of seed funding, started small. It was just Katie and I for the first year, and her mother, who still works with us today.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. And we hired our first person who was just a general help, everything, just get on with everything. And she's still with us, head of partnerships and PR now. And then we hired our fourth member of the team on the first day of lockdown.
Wow.
And then we came out of COVID with 20 members of staff. So that was a huge, huge growth and just a huge increase in staff members in a very short time.
That's absolutely huge growth. And actually not that dissimilar from quite a few of our other guests. I think D2C specifically did have a moment during lockdown and COVID because, people are obviously stuck at home. How did that growth feel at the time?
I don't think you think about it. You just there's no time to think about it. You just have to get stuff done, get orders out the warehouse. We have our own fulfillment. So it's very much all hands on deck. Just, getting everything done, just not stopping, just not moving.
That's huge. And how did you find those people over that period of time? That must have been quite tricky.
Yeah, I mean, our warehouse is in Devon, and that's where sort of Katie is based, my business partner, and I live in London. But I spent most of COVID down in Devon, living with her, going into the warehouse every day, which was great. But we just found them, online on kind of job websites, and actually there's an amazing network of people down in Devon, really skilled, great people. So we're very lucky.
Brilliant. So you came out of lockdown with 20 people. What size is the team now?
We're now got about 50 members of staff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the kind of shape of that team? You've got a leadership team. How does it work in terms of the structure?
Yeah, so we've got a CEO who we brought in 3 years ago, and I then took the role of COO. I've since stepped back from the day-to-day operations, which has been a challenge in itself, but actually now it's very freeing and exciting to see where the team are taking it. We've got, huge team in production, obviously design, merchandising. We have the whole warehouse team. So we've got a 15,000 square foot warehouse where we fulfill all our orders, everything gets shipped into there, and then everything goes out from our warehouse, all the returns come back. So that's a big operation in itself.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And bringing a CEO in, I had no idea. I don't know how I've missed that fact in all of my Stripe and Stare research. How did you come to that decision? Because that's like we did a podcast recently with a group CEO and a CEO that he'd brought in to replace him, but they're both still in the business. So it was really interesting to hear that kind of their reflections on how that's felt. How did you make that decision and how did you recruit that person?
Well, it was actually very happenstance, really. Our chair at the time was ex-Bowden and he knew Kathy. So she was ex-Bowden as well, and she'd left Bowden and she was being geared up to take over as CEO of Bowden and wanted to go somewhere where she could make a big difference in the growth and go to a sort of smaller business. So she came to us and we were like, well, we don't need a CEO. We're still quite small, but then when this amazing person lands on you and you think, okay, well, how can we make this work? So originally we were just like, well, we don't need a CEO. Maybe come in and run the product and the marketing. And then Katie and I were like, actually, she knows what she's doing. Why don't we let her take the reins and tell us what to do and take a bit of the stress and the pressure off us? So she's done an incredible job for the last 3.5 years, really sort of building the structure and the team. Sadly, she's leaving us in the next month, but Katie is going to take over my business partner as CEO. So that's a really exciting development.
Yeah, that's a huge transition. How are you preparing for that?
Well, I think because Katie, is involved in every detail of the business, it's not like we have to train someone from the outside to come in and take over. She knows the team very well. She knows exactly what goes on in every aspect of the business. So it's actually should be a pretty smooth and easy transition.
Yeah, brilliant. It sounds like you've got an amazing culture at Stripe and Stare. I've been listening to other podcasts that you've talked on and reading up a little bit. How would you describe, though, the culture that you have? And can you tell me a little bit about how you think that you've landed there and developed that?
Well, I think when Katie and I sort of started the business, we'd both come from quite toxic companies where the management style wasn't, ideal.
Yeah, often happens.
And so we knew from the start that we wanted to do something differently. We've always said from day one that we'll only work with people who we like, who we trust, and who get shit done. And that's whether it's the team, suppliers, everyone. And I think when you employ those people, especially at the beginning, they've got to be doers. They've got to just be passionate about what we're doing. Yeah. We always say there's the bin test. You've got to take the bin out. You've got to do your job. You've got to help everyone else. You've got to muck in because no one else is, that's what it's all about, helping each other. And I think that stands now that everyone's kind of really good friends. We spend most of our life at work. We need to have people we want to hang out with and have fun with. And by default, everyone does a good job as well.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you decide who you like? I think I probably apply that principle without overtly stating it, but it's quite an interesting lens, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's an attitude, isn't it? No one's a sort of job's worth. Oh, that's not in my role. That does not exist. Especially in the early days where deliveries would arrive and everyone would get up from their desk and go in a line and take the box one by one off the lorry, so it's
all hands on deck, literally.
Exactly. And I think as well, when you've got a small business, everyone is involved in everything that you're doing. Just because you're in the warehouse doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion. You actually probably have the best opinion on what sells and what's good and what products should look like and, marketing ideas and whatever it is, everything is available for everyone.
Yeah. And have you found a way to filter out the people you like and trust and get shit done at interview? Because that's quite a tricky set of criteria, isn't it, to test for want of a better way of putting it. I think a lot of people would find that hard.
It's definitely, and as you grow as well, obviously you can't employ everybody yourself. So yeah, we've got it wrong a few times, but generally it's been pretty good. I don't know how you do it. It's just gut, isn't it?
It's gut feel.
Yeah, it's a gut feel. And I think when people are really passionate about what we do, then that comes through as well.
Yeah. I think it's a product that's easy to be passionate about as well, because it's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's cool. It is, isn't it? It's like, it's just such a nice product. So I think that sort of gut feeling and that interviewing people and just knowing who you like is quite easy to do for you, the founder. How have you applied that at scale? Because I think it's the sort of thing that when businesses get to a certain point and you've got those kind of ever increasing circles out from the center, if you like, and that kind of nub, that core team that you started off with, it becomes ever more difficult to find those people or make sure that you're going to like them at arm's length. How have you approached that challenge? Because that's a tricky one to get around.
Well, I think, again, it's like if you're employing the right people, then, you know, that knock-on chain effect sort of happens, doesn't it? I mean, if you employ the wrong person and then they start employing people, then that's when it goes wrong. But by default, if you're employing people with the right attitude, the right mindset, the right skills is easy, then by default, the knock-on effect is that they do too.
Yeah. So you're trusting the people in the team to find the people they like, and by default, because you like them.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. And when it has gone wrong, how quickly have you seen that? And how have you coped with that and dealt with it?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because, you know, at the end of the day, they're people and no one wants to, you know, admit that it's wrong. But in a small situation, we've had a few people who have definitely sort of disrupted and it's been difficult. So we've just had to bite the bullet. And it's awkward and it's hard and it's difficult, but it's generally better for everyone in the business and the business itself. So you have to make these decisions.
Yeah. It's an ecosystem ultimately, isn't it? You have to make sure that it thrives and it works on all the different fronts that it needs to. I think that's what we see often. When something isn't right, it becomes such a distraction so quickly. And I think it's really obvious for everybody to see. And I think ultimately, you're right, it's better for that person, it's better for the rest of the team, it's across the board, it's the right thing
exactly
to do.
And you know, the sort of startup life is not for everyone.
No.
You know, it is messy, it is chaotic, it is crazy, and not everyone is right in that environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so true. How would you describe the right set of qualities for that environment? Because I think that's something that often people find it hard to articulate.
I think, again, you know, sort of I've never really come from a sort of corporate background, but, you know, being that cog in a wheel and knowing this is my job and this is what I do. And, you know, we had someone join in the warehouse, for instance, and they came in and they'd come from a supermarket or something. And they lasted a day because everyone was just like, oh no, well, you just can have tea when you want. And, you know, and we all have lunch around 1 and blah, 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 relaxed. And they lasted a day because no one sat them down and told them specifically when they could have their break, when they could have a cup of tea, and when they could have lunch.
Total confusion.
So they were just like, I can't cope with this sort of chaos where I'm allowed as a grown-up to just go and make my own cup of tea in the middle of the day. I need a 15-minute window where I'm allowed to do it.
Oh my God, I love that.
You know, it's you know, there are just people who don't strive in that environment where, you know, they're treated as grown-ups, or they're allowed to be a bit more flexible, or they have to jump up and help someone else that is not in their job description, and, you know, whatever it is. They're just people who don't work well at that, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. I think it is that idea of all hands on deck to an extent, isn't it? Sort of staying in your lane until somebody around you needs support or help.
Yeah.
Because I think if everybody, we sometimes describe, you know, that startup world as being like watching under 11s football, where the ball's there and everybody that nobody's in their position and everybody's jumping to where the excitement is. And I think it's about getting the balance right between fulfilling your role and supporting the overall business where it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Just a reminder, I'm Rebecca Morley and we are Third House. We help ambitious entrepreneurs to become better, more intentional leaders. You can find us at wearethirdhouse.com. There you can find a free, really quick 5-minute assessment that you can take to see where you are on your leadership journey and to learn more about working with us to shape your own leadership path. Now back to the episode. So you and Katie have quite different backgrounds, I believe.
Yep.
How have you, first of all, kind of divided and conquered the business? And then secondly, I guess, how has that impacted how the business runs over time, do you think?
Well, I think it's amazing. We're so lucky that our skill sets are completely yin and yang. At the beginning, she's obviously all the product and the sales and the PR and the marketing, and I was everything else. And, she's never logged into the bank account or the accounts. She just completely trusts that that's fine. And I got on with that. Likewise, on the other side with the product. So we had such clear lanes that we, trusted each other to just get on with it. So it's been really, really lucky and really fortunate. And so we've never, Keisha, I've gone, what, grey knickers? Are you joking? She's like, just trust me. And then, of course, they're best-selling knickers. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, very strange. But, she's like, you don't know anything. Trust me. They're cool. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah.
Very Gap, circa 1994.
Yes, exactly. And so likewise with the warehouse, when we were sort of building our first warehouse, she just had no input and just knew I would get on with it and do it. So it's very easy as well, I suppose, for the team to know where to go and who to ask.
Yeah. I mean, listening so far to everything that you've talked about, it sounds easy. And in many ways, as though you've kept it quite low drama and just kind of got on with it and been really pragmatic and just taken one step after another. Has it been like that?
Well, I think our motto is, it's just a pair of knickers. We're not...
Keep everything in perspective.
Keep everything in perspective. I think... so Katie and I both had sort of quite traumatic things happen before Stripe and Stare. And so we're literally just like, it's just a pair of knickers. It's literally not a drama. It's not the end of the world. Shit happens. We can fix it. We can solve it. Move on and get on with it. I mean, of course, there have been moments, but nothing really kind of too shocking or onerous, and nothing that you can't ultimately just deal with.
I love that. And I think a lot of the founders we speak to, I think there's an inherent belief that you have to have that flair for the dramatic to actually ignite enough of a fire to get something like this off the ground. So it's really refreshing to just hear that really pragmatic view. I listened to a podcast yesterday where you talked about the fundraising that you've done along the way as well. And your approach to that was incredibly pragmatic. And I think there's often real drama around that as well. And there's real drama around whether women can get funding, especially. And I think your approach to it, we just did it. We just went out and we got it. And I know it nearly finished you off, the due diligence. And an incredible story that sat behind that as well. But amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you've just got to get it done, haven't you? Just got to work through it.
Do you think that pragmatism and that calm outlook and, I guess, focus on what's important has helped you to gain the confidence of stakeholders like investors and people around you?
I think so, yes. Yeah, because I think there was never any doubt in Katie and I's mind that we'd make this wherever we wanted to take it. And to have that sort of inherent belief and passion. She's a single mother, so this is, her way of supporting her children. And so we had no choice but to make it work. So that's just been our driving force.
Yeah, amazing. That's so cool. I love it. So on to you. We've talked about the business a little bit, but you as a leader in particular, how would you describe your leadership style? And I'm getting the sense that quite pragmatic and low drama, but I mean, I'll let you do the description of your leadership style rather than me laying it onto you.
I would say I'm very, very much myself. I think if you're authentic and kind and grateful to the people around you, and you employ people who are better than you, then it should be pretty simple. Yeah, I don't know what my leadership style is. I suppose authentic, relaxed.
Yeah, I like it. I could see the relaxed.
I do. There are moments where you're pretty cross with people, but it's never about shouting. It's just about figuring out what went wrong and fixing it.
What are those moments? What pushes your buttons as a leader?
I think doing a bad job or doing something sloppily or, not putting care and thought into it. Yeah. Because I think everyone makes mistakes. Everyone owns their mistakes. And Katie and I are always the first people to say, oh, sorry, that was probably us. Oh, God. I got banned from customer service once because I was doing 700 jobs and some customer emailed me and I said, oh, well, you just haven't looked at the website properly, blah, 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 and this is a thing and whatever, and replied, got it on with, move on, another 500 things to do. And then they called Katie. We're like, we had someone very, unlike you on customer service. I mean, she was very curt and abrupt. And Katie's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Who was that? She's like, Nicola.
Brilliant.
So then I was banned from talking to customers for a while. It's perfect. I had too much to do anyway, which was the problem.
I love that story. That's funny. It's amazing how many of our founders actually do speak to customers and get involved in all of that stuff. I think it's a good thing.
I mean, 99% of the time, I'm lovely to customers. And we have great
having
chats
a bad day.
and have a wonderful time. But that was one moment.
Yes, fair enough. I think we're all allowed our moments. Like you say, you're just yourself in a leadership role and you bring what sounds like your own sort of personal values to bear as a leader. But you talked earlier about working in toxic environments and difficult roles before. First of all, what were those experiences? I'd be interested to hear. But secondly, how do you think that shaped who you are as a leader?
Yeah, I don't know. Am I allowed to say the company? What if they're listening?
If you want, they might listen.
I don't know.
What are they going to do?
What are they going to do? I was running cooking schools for a while, and they were owned by two French brothers. And
okay, we can guess. We can fill in the gaps.
Yeah, and I had total autonomy in the UK, but they'd come over and just throw toys out the pram, expect everyone to jump just because they said they'd come in and go, well, why aren't you working out? I mean, if you wrote a book on how to manage people, they literally did everything the complete opposite. It was fascinating to watch. And, their way of motivating people was just to tell them that they should be more excited and to make more money and to work harder. I mean, it was so extraordinary. It was fascinating to watch. So definitely did not take any leaf out of that book.
I often think with those sort of ego-led, that sort of hero leadership, being trying to be the center of gravity and just create that gravitational pull around you, I think is the trick to that. But it creates huge toxicity, doesn't it? It's like the antithesis of how you've described things are.
Yes, I mean, to give you an idea, I left the business on a day where, I quit on a day where half my team were crying in the park, the other half were on their things doing CVs because they'd just come in and derailed everyone and shouted at them, not knowing anything about their roles or what they did. It was unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But then I was free to start.
Yes, there you're free.
So there you go.
Did you do anything between that and Stripe and Stare?
No.
No, straight into this.
So it's all serendipity.
You've created the land of milk and honey from a leadership point of view. I love it. I think that it so often shapes you, though, those negative experiences. And I've worked in companies that I also will not name, one in particular where I cut my teeth in the business world, and it was so toxic. And I think that you learn a huge amount about how things shouldn't be in those environments, certainly. And weirdly, they're often really successful, but filled with really miserable people. And I just don't think it needs to be like that.
I mean, Katie came from the TV world, and she used to have sort of phones thrown at her head, and or not her head, but other across the room. Yeah. But just so bizarre, just such bizarre behaviour. Why would anyone behave like that and think any results are going to come from it?
Yeah. It's amazing. I had a friend who worked in PR, and on her first day, there was a Post-it note on her screen when she got back from her break saying, "Latte, no fucking foam." It's like, but it's the same. It's like,
yes, okay.
Okay, yeah, lesson learned, never forgotten. Don't work in PR again, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, back to my questions. So you started Stripe and Stare in 2017, is that right?
Yeah.
So nearly 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
exciting.
nearly 10 years. So it's been a roller coaster, and it's been great fun along the way. What
are the biggest highs along the way?
I mean, you got to put Oprah in there.
Yes, I heard about Oprah yesterday.
Yes. So that was obviously a big moment. We knew she discovered us in a store in Montecito where she lives, and then called in loads of stuff, and I had to stop Katie from sending the entire warehouse to her. It's like, just read it in, breathe. And then she posted on Instagram wearing our sort of pajama loungewear at the time.
Amazing.
And we were like, oh my God. And she reposted her personal profile going, "I love you guys so much. I've got 3 pairs in every colour. I wear them to sleep, to jog, to run." And then she chose us as her favourite things. And then we had a surprise Zoom call with her. So
oh my goodness. Yes. How was that? That's amazing.
I mean, it was hilarious. We were sort of talking to Gail King and another guy, and I'm so clueless about all of these things. I didn't even know who they were. And they'd kept us waiting for ages. And Katie was sort of on the loo, and they suddenly appeared, and I was like, "Katie, they're here! Hurry up!" And so I was sort of making small talk, going, "And a busy morning?" And Gail King was like, "Just presented Good Morning America." And I was like, "So quite busy then. Quite busy." And so and then we were chatting away to them, and then suddenly, in true Hollywood style, the screen just expanded, and Oprah was just sitting next to them, and that's she was mental. Like, "They really are the most comfortable things." And then I was just like, "Oh my God!" Katie started crying. It was all,
That's brilliant.
Yes, it was quite funny. That was obviously a big moment.
Yeah, big high. Exciting. And what impact did that have on the business?
It had a huge impact. I mean, just in terms of sales, that was really good, because we sold the sort of loungewear through the Favourite Things site and Amazon. But I think just, the awareness, the fact that we know Oprah's a fan is huge on every level.
Yeah. Oprah's favourite knickers. What better
Yeah.
endorsement can you ask for?
Well, exactly. So it's been, But, we have so many amazing people wearing our underwear that it's incredible.
Yeah. It's has Oprah eclipsed all of those other people, or are they still?
I mean, there were some pretty good ones I can't even think now, but yes, lots and lots.
That's brilliant. How about kind of, big business milestones? What's happened along the way that's really stood out for you guys?
I think, it's the small things at the beginning. An influencer posted us in deep COVID, and we did 2 months of sales in an afternoon.
It's amazing.
You're just like, what is happening? Our first Black Friday, where also I think it was our, second Black Friday, where we all sort of did a sweepstake in the office as to what we thought it was going to be. And someone put this obscene number in and we were just like, absolutely no way, you are crazy. And we did more than that.
Wow.
And it wasn't a smart warehouse. And all the stock had just arrived and it was total chaos. But we got all the orders out.
Well done.
But, you know, so it's all those sort of moments of then you hit your biggest day online and then you do it again. And, you know, so it's loads of amazing things along the way.
It's exciting.
Great collaborations.
Yeah, I've seen some of the collaborations. How do they come about?
Katie's pretty ruthless.
Is she?
So she knows who she wants and she goes for it. And we went. So the first big collaboration was a brand called Love Shack Fancy, which is obviously huge in the US. And she emailed them and they replied within 24 hours going, actually, great. Yeah, let's do it. And
That's so cool.
I was speaking to Katie and she said, right, we're not doing anything else. Nothing else is on the table. We've got too much going on. I was like, you know, absolutely, this is it. And then an hour later she called me and she was like, Love Shack Fancy, I've just replied. Love Shack Fancy. I think I need to lie down. I'm hyperventilating.
Now I'm seeing where the drama might sit. If it's not with you. Need to lie down, having a moment.
I was like, okay, yeah, we can put that on the table.
Yeah. We'll have to kill something else out of the list. It's fine. We'll find space for it. Love it. And what have the big sort of aha moments been for you along the way as a leader, do you think? Because obviously, you know, those are big business highs and lows, but I think everybody has moments where they, I don't know, the standout lessons or moments where you really sort of feel that you've made a shift. Are there any moments like that for you in a leadership context that stand out?
I remember there was one time sort of quite early on where we were all in the warehouse waiting for this big stock delivery to arrive. And it had been late because of COVID and we wanted to get on the website and everyone was super excited. And they arrived and they took the pallets off and we all rushed outside and they were soaking wet and falling apart and just absolutely beyond horrendous. And they'd clearly just been sitting on the runway in torrential rain for days. And everyone was just so upset. And I was so upset. And we were all just like looking at this absolute mess, just thinking, what do we do? And everyone just looked at me and was like, what do we do? And I was just like, cry, go home. And then it was like, right, okay, no, let's, you know, and you just have to go, okay, right, this is not all bad. We'll fix some of it. Probably looks worse than it is. We need to just break it all down. Let's put it into what we need to wash and send to charity, what we can salvage, what we can't. Insurance will pay for this. Yes, it's annoying. And just put that sort of structure. And then we all got down to it and that was fine. But I do remember everyone just looking at me going, what? And I was wanting to cry. Everyone was wanting to cry. We were all like, oh my God.
But you can't because you've got a leadership role to play and you need to be in charge.
Yeah, you need to somehow know the answers.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it? That's a definite low. What of the other sort of moments? I hate having this side of the conversation because I want to talk about all the good stuff and the growth. But there will obviously have been lows and failures along the way. What are the ones that stand out for you?
I don't think lows and failures. I don't think things you learn from, aren't they?
Yeah, like always.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Always. I mean, you know, cash flow challenges, money not coming in as fast as you want, spending something that maybe didn't have the response you needed or wanted. Those are always kind of hard to take. But again, it's what you raise money for is to learn and test.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you deal with those sort of setbacks and those moments when it feels like it's not necessarily going to plan?
Just think of a new plan.
I'm definitely marking you down as the most pragmatic person I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. I love it. I think a lot of people could learn a lot from Nicola Piercy on the pragmatic front. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's probably, yeah. I think Katie described that about me the other day. Optimistic, pragmatic. unflappable. Yeah.
Unflappable, absolutely. And you talk about you and Katie being yin and yang. Is she, I mean, like, this is obviously difficult territory to go into, but is she flappable? Is she, does she have those opposite qualities to you in those spaces, as well as the functional side of things?
She's pretty unflappable as well.
Yeah, amazing. I love this. So I sent you this question in advance because I think for a lot of people, it's quite an arresting concept to think of yourself as an accidental leader. But I think Third House, our business, is based on helping people who are what we call accidental leaders. So people who never really set out with that really ego-driven desire to be a leader or be in charge. And I think, there's often founders like you who grow a business and all of a sudden, you've got 50 people within that business and you didn't necessarily expect to be there. Obviously, you've got experience of running big teams from previous roles. But does that term accidental leader resonate, first of all? And if it does, what steps have you taken or how have you kind of overcome that and become more intentional and more deliberate in how you lead over the years?
100%. I mean, I don't think anyone, no one starts a business and walks into a multi-million-pound business with, 50 staff.
No.
They start selling a product with one person and then you hire as you go along. And you just, I think I've always been someone who just gets stuff done. And if that means employing someone, we employ someone and then we move on and then until we need someone else. And you do suddenly turn around and go, oh, hello, there are 20 people in this room. How did that happen?
How did that happen?
So I think it is quite an easy thing to do when you're just getting on with the day job. But so I suppose as you go along and the team gets bigger, then you have to have more structure, kind of more organisation. Especially we have an office in London and an office in Devon. So it's like managing the communication between the teams. Then you have to be a lot more sort of thoughtful and structured about how everyone communicates.
Yeah, absolutely. How does that work? What structures have you implemented in that way?
So we have quarterly team meetings and then we get together twice a year. So quarterly team meetings where we update everyone, including all of the warehouse team, everyone comes. And that's update on all the business. And then one of the team will talk about their side of the business and update on, the website or the marketing or what they do or operations or something like that. So everyone kind of gets involved and learns about other parts of the business. And then we go out and have fun.
Nice. That's the most important bit,
yes,
isn't it? To build that trust. And have you, in terms of kind of structures and processes around culture and things like that, have you got sort of stated values? We talked to Louise Hill from Go Henry. They've got a little red book of Go Henry-isms and kind of what's important about that business stated in this little book. Have you created anything like that for Stripe and Step?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. We have all our values listed in there and it's, we rise by lifting others. All of those values are very much kind of bled throughout the team all the time, reinstated at team meetings, in inductions, everything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how did you create that? That's no mean feat to put all of that on the page.
I think it's because it was so inherited from day one, what we wanted to build and how we wanted to build it and the values. Talk about sort of the values of people that we brought on early days, that it sort of just evolved. But actually, it really hasn't changed since day one.
Yeah, I love that. That's brilliant. Does the term messy middle resonate with you? Because I think, it feels like you have scaled really organically and it hasn't felt, although you've brought a CEO in, so maybe that's kind of insulated you against that, what potentially would have been that messy middle. But for a lot of businesses, you get to that point where you get to sort of 40, 50 people and it starts to feel unwieldy and starts to feel quite different from what it was before. Do you feel that's happened in Stripe and Step?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We definitely had the messy middle. We definitely had the chaos and but actually it was the fun part. That's the bit, that's the bit that I loved, is the sort of firefighting, doing a million jobs, which is why now it's a bit more of a sort of structured, well-oiled machine, which is why I'm not there day to day because I'm good at doing every single job, not one job.
Yeah.
So I think I'm the sort of typical entrepreneur who loves that starting point.
Yeah. Sort of, I'll spin this plate. Oh, look, that plate looks exciting. I'll go. It's just like, woo.
Yes, exactly. That's, I would say, if you're in the messy middle, enjoy every moment of it.
That's such nice advice.
But also look at your cash flow. Always keep an eye on your cash flow. And if you're raising money, raise money when you don't need it.
Yeah.
Raise as much as you can if it's offered. And have someone really good working on the books.
Yeah. So that cash flow for you, is that enable you to buy stock and develop product? Is it, or does it go beyond that? And
the marketing and the speed of growth.
Yeah. So it's allowed you to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of acquiring new customers, how fast, all depends on cash flow and what that looks like. And obviously stock is key, our biggest time at Christmas. And so buying a lot of stock September and then coming out, and you've got to pay all the bills and the VAT, and it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So we ask everybody this one final question, which I think we've started to answer, but for any other founder that's kind of coming up on the journey behind Stripe and Stare, not quite at that 10-year mark, not quite at that sort of 30 to 50 people mark where things start to feel a bit shaky, do you have any advice for people that are in that stage or in that space?
Surround yourself with other people who've been there, done that. Always ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. No question is stupid. If you don't know, you don't know. But there are lots of people who have been there, done that, failed, messed it up.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistakes.
Learn from other people.
Learn from other people, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Well, thank you, Nicola. This has been amazing. And it's so good to hear your journey and your story. And I think everybody's going to really enjoy listening too. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. That was really, really fun.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Third Seat. I really hope this conversation gave you some reflection points, some insights, or some inspiration to think about how you can become a more intentional leader. If you have any questions or any reflections, please do get in touch. We love to hear from you, and we'd love to answer some of your questions in a future podcast. In the meantime, follow the show and do join us again for more conversations with scale-up leaders. We've saved you a seat.